conversation. You'll hear,
بعرف رفيقتك؟
Do I know your friend?
اسمع هالمحادثة.
عندك وقت تشربي قهوة؟
لا مو هلأ، رفيقتي جاية تزورني وما عندي وقت كتير.
بعرف رفيقتك؟
ما بظن. اسمها هبة قائد وهي من بيروت، ما شفتها من سنة، بس ممكن نشرب كاسة شاي سوا بعدين.
كتير منيح، عن إذنك إذن.
Her friend's name is.
هبة قائد.
They will all have tea together.
سوا.
Together.
اسمع المحادثة مرة تانية.
عندك وقت تشربي قهوة؟
لا مو هلأ، رفيقتي جاية تزورني وما عندي وقت كتير.
بعرف رفيقتك؟
ما بظن. اسمها هبة قائد وهي من بيروت، ما شفتها من سنة، بس ممكن نشرب كاسة شاي سوا بعدين.
كتير منيح، عن إذنك إذن.
Now imagine you're Mrs. Johnson. While attending a conference in Damascus, you meet Mr. Ramsey, an acquaintance. Here's how he might say, Hi, Mrs. Johnson.
اسمع أعيد.
مرحبا يا ست جونسون. حبا. مرحبا. مرحبا يا ست جونسون.
How do you say, Hi, Mr. Ramsey, how are you?
مرحبا يا أخ رمزي، كيفك؟
He says, Very well, thank you.
منيح كتير، شكرا.
Now a colleague walks up. How do you say, Hi?
مرحبا.
This is a very common Arabic greeting. We'll use it from now on to say, Hi. Mr. Ramsey asks you, Do you have the time to drink a coffee?
عندك وقت تشربي قهوة؟
Answer him, Not now, but maybe later.
مو هلأ، بس ممكن بعدين.
Here's how to ask, Right? Or isn't it so?
اسمع أعيد.
ما هيك؟ هيك؟ ما هيك؟
How would he ask, You like to go to the Spring Cafe, right?
بتحبي تروحي لقهوة الربيع، ما هيك؟
Tell him, Yes, I like the Spring Cafe.
إيه بحب قهوة الربيع.
How would Mr. Ramsey say, We can drink?
ممكن نشرب؟
He says, We can drink a glass of green tea.
ممكن نشرب كاسة شاي أخضر.
How would he ask, Right? Or isn't that so?
ما هيك؟
Tell him you like red tea.
بحب شاي أحمر.
قول.
I never drink green tea.
ما بشرب شاي أخضر أبداً.
He suggests perhaps a glass of red tea or a beer. You want to say that sometimes you drink red tea. Here's how to say sometimes.
اسمع أعيد.
أحياناً. نن. ياناً. أحياناً.
قول.
Sometimes.
أحياناً.
Try to say, Sometimes I drink red tea.
أحياناً بشرب شاي أحمر. أحمر.
Say that you never drink beer.
ما بشرب بيرة أبداً.
But you like the Spring Cafe, right?
بس بتحبي قهوة الربيع، ما هيك؟
You agree and he suggests a time to meet, saying, At 5 o'clock?
الساعة 5.
You say, all right, see you later.
طيب، عن إذنك.
Now you're an American man in Damascus. A friend says hi.
مرحبا.
Referring to a woman, say, a colleague of mine.
زميلتي.
A colleague of mine is coming to visit me.
زميلتي جاية تزورني.
قول
Her name is Ellen Jones.
اسمها إيلين جونز.
She's coming to visit me with her husband.
جاية تزورني مع جوزها.
How does your friend ask if you know him?
بتعرفه؟
قول
Yes, I know him well.
إيه بعرفه منيح.
His daughter is a friend of mine.
بنته رفيقتي.
This time your friend asks, do you know her husband?
بتعرف جوزها؟
قول
Yes, I know him. He likes Syria a lot.
إيه بعرفه. بحب سوريا كتير.
Another colleague joins you. How does she say, hi?
مرحبا.
Your friend wants to ask when your colleague is coming. Here's how to say, your female colleague.
اسمع أعيد
زميلتك. تك. زميلتك.
Now your friend asks, when is your colleague coming?
إمتى جاية زميلتك؟
قول
She's coming to visit me at 1 o'clock.
جاية تزورني الساعة 1.
My colleague is Canadian.
زميلتي كندية.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen her for a year.
آسف ما شفتها من سنة.
Or her husband for 2 years.
أو جوزها من 2.
Her son and his daughter are coming too.
ابنها وبنته جايين كمان.
Your friend asks, you haven't seen your colleague for a year?
ما شفت زميلتك من سنة؟
You want to say, they're both from Canada. Here's the word for both.
اسمع أعيد
الاثنين. 2. الاثنين.
قول بالعربي
Both, or both of them.
الاثنين.
Say that both of them are from Canada.
الاثنين من كندا.
They both speak Arabic.
اسمع أعيد
الاثنين بيحكوا عربي. بيحكوا. كو. بيحكوا. الاثنين بيحكوا عربي.
Do you remember the word for always?
دائما.
قول
They always speak Arabic with me.
دائما بيحكوا عربي معي.
You want to say, now they live in Homs. Here's the word for they live.
اسمع، أعيد.
ساكنين. ساكنين.
قول
Now they live in Homs.
هلأ ساكنين بحمص.
They both speak Arabic very well.
الاثنين بيحكوا عربي منيح كتير.
My colleague and her son with her husband and his daughter.
زميلتي وابنها مع جوزها وبنته.
Your friend asks again, when is your colleague coming?
إمتى زميلتك جاية؟
She wants to invite you to have a glass of tea. What's the word for you have, meaning you drink, when speaking to a woman?
تشربي؟
Can you guess how you'd say that when speaking to a man?
تشرب؟
Now she asks you, do you have time to have a glass of tea with me?
عندك وقت تشرب كاسة شاي معي؟
Tell her, yes, why not?
إيه ليش لا؟
Ask her, would you like to go to the Spring Cafe?
بتحبي تروحي لقهوة الربيع؟
She says, you don't always have time, right?
ما عندك وقت دائما ما هيك؟
No, but today I have enough time.
لا بس اليوم عندي وقت كافي.
اسأل
Would you like to go to the Spring Cafe?
بتحبي تروحي لقهوة الربيع؟
Tell her, they're coming from Homs at 1 o'clock.
جايين من حمص الساعة 1.
What is the word for both?
الاثنين.
قول
They both speak Arabic very well.
الاثنين بيحكوا عربي منيح كتير.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen my colleague for a year.
آسف ما شفت زميلتي من سنة.
Or her husband for 2 years.
أو جوزها من 2 سنين.
I saw him in Canada.
شفته بكندا.
They're coming to visit me today.
جايين يزوروني اليوم.
Say again that they're both from Canada.
الاثنين من كندا.
قول
They always speak Arabic with me.
دائما بيحكوا عربي معي.
How would your friend ask where they live now?
وين ساكنين هلأ؟ وين ساكنين؟
Here's how to say 3 years.
اسمع أعيد
3 سنين. سنين. 3 سنين.
They've lived in Homs for 3 years.
ساكنين بحمص من 3 سنين. 3 سنين.
قول
For 2 or 3 years now.
من 2 أو 3 سنين هلأ.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen her for 3 years.
آسف ما شفتها من 3 سنين. 3 سنين. ما شفتها من 3 سنين.
You correct yourself and say, no, for 1 year.
لا، من سنة.
My colleague and her husband,
زميلتي وجوزها.
they've lived in Homs
ساكنين بحمص.
قول
for 2 or 3 years now.
من 2 أو 3 سنين هلأ. 3 سنين.
قول
Both.
الاثنين.
She asks, they're both from Canada, right?
الاثنين من كندا ما هيك؟
جاوب
My colleague and her husband live in Homs now.
زميلتي وجوزها ساكنين بحمص هلأ.
They've lived in Homs for 3 years.
ساكنين بحمص من 3 سنين. من 3 سنين.
Tell her, but they're both from Canada.
بس الاثنين من كندا. الاثنين.
Say that they're coming to visit you today.
جايين يزوروني اليوم.
She asks you, they both speak Arabic, right?
الاثنين بيحكوا عربي ما هيك؟
Yes, but sometimes they speak English with my wife.
ايه، بس أحيانا بيحكوا إنجليزي مع مرتي.
But now, would you like to go to the Spring Cafe?
بس هلأ بتحبي تروحي لقهوة الربيع؟
Later, you're in your office in Damascus and you see a colleague. How does she say, "Hi, Charles"?
مرحبا تشارلز. مرحبا.
Now she asks, "Do you always have a lot of work?"
دائما عندك شغل كتير؟ دائما؟
جاوب
Not today.
مو اليوم. مو اليوم.
In that case, do you have time to have a glass of tea with me?
إذن عندك وقت تشرب كاسة شاي معي؟
At the Spring Cafe?
بقهوة الربيع؟ بقهوة الربيع؟
قول
Yes, they always speak English with me there.
ايه، دائما بيحكوا إنجليزي معي هنيك.
You want to tell her that you go there. With go or going, you say literally to there. Try it.
لهنيك. لهنيك.
How does she say, "I want to go there with you"?
بدي روح لهنيك معك. لهنيك.
To say simply, "I go there," you add a B sound to the beginning of go.
اسمع أعيد
I go there.
بروح لهنيك. روح. بروح. بروح لهنيك.
قول
I go.
بروح. بروح.
Now say for a man, I go and I'm going.
بروح. رايح. بروح. رايح.
What's the word for sometimes?
أحيانا. أحيانا.
هلأ قول
Sometimes I go there.
أحيانا بروح لهنيك. بروح لهنيك.
What part of that means there, literally to there?
لهنيك.
قول
Sometimes I go there.
أحيانا بروح لهنيك.
Referring to a man, say, with a friend of mine.
مع رفيقي. رفيقي.
How would you say, he's going there today?
رايح لهنيك اليوم. لهنيك.
Here's how she says, we're going there now.
اسمع أعيد
رايحين لهنيك هلأ. رايحين. رايحين لهنيك هلأ.
كيف بتقول
I go there.
بروح لهنيك.
She says again, we're going there now.
رايحين لهنيك هلأ.
Sometimes I go there with my husband.
أحياناً بروح لهنيك مع جوزي.
Now she asks, are we going there now?
رايحين لهنيك هلأ.
Later, you and a friend want to return to your hotel, but you don't want to wait for a bus. Your friend suggests we can go back on foot. Here's the word that means by walking or on foot.
اسمع أعيد
مشي. شي. مشي.
And here's to return or to go back.
اسمع أعيد
ارجع. ارجع.
Now try to say to go back by walking.
ارجع مشي. ارجع مشي.
To say we go back, you add an N sound at the beginning. How would she say we go back or we return?
نرجع. نرجع.
هلأ قول
We go back by walking.
نرجع مشي. نرجع مشي.
Say together, we go back, we're going.
نرجع. رايحين. نرجع. رايحين.
She's speaking too fast. Say, excuse me, I don't understand.
عفوا ما فهمت.
اسأل
Are we going there on foot?
رايحين لهنيك مشي. رايحين. رايحين لهنيك مشي.
كيف بتقول
We go back or we return.
نرجع.
Here's how to say I return or I go back.
اسمع أعيد
برجع. برجع.
Now, how would she say, sometimes I return on foot?
أحياناً برجع مشي. برجع.
Or I take a taxi.
اسمع أعيد.
أو باخد تاكسي. آخد. باخد. أو باخد تاكسي.
Now she says, sometimes I take a taxi.
أحياناً باخد تاكسي.
Can you guess how to say, we take a taxi?
ناخد تاكسي. ناخد تاكسي.
We can take a taxi.
ممكن ناخد تاكسي.
With can, want, or need, you don't need the added be when saying I. How would she say, I can return on foot?
ممكن أرجع مشي. ارجع. ممكن أرجع مشي.
But sometimes I take a taxi.
بس أحياناً باخد تاكسي.
How do you say, we can return on foot?
ممكن نرجع مشي. نرجع.
Notice that
نرجع.
doesn't change with can. Say, or we can take a taxi.
أو ممكن ناخد تاكسي. ممكن ناخد تاكسي.
Your friend says, I don't have much time.
ما عندي وقت كتير.
I'm going to have dinner.
حأتعشى.
Referring to a man, she says, with a colleague of mine.
زميلي.
مع زميلي. زميلي.
How does she say, my colleague, when referring to a man?
زميلي.
قول اسمه مازن دوماني.
اسمه مازن دوماني.
هي بتسأل
Do you know him?
بتعرفه؟ بتعرفه؟
Referring to a man, she says, my colleague is coming to visit me today.
زميلي جاي يزورني اليوم.
قول
Yes, I know him.
إيه بعرفه.
I think his wife is Canadian.
بظن مرته كندية.
She says, yes, they've lived in Aleppo for 3 years.
إيه ساكنين بحلب من 3 سنين.
She tells you, his wife is a friend of mine too.
مرته رفيقتي كمان. مرته رفيقتي.
قول
All right, we can take a taxi today.
طيب ممكن ناخد تاكسي اليوم.
This is the end of Unit 7 and the end of today's lesson. Pimsleur courses work best when done consecutively and on a daily basis. For best results, please continue with the next unit tomorrow. This has been a presentation of Simon & Schuster Audio. Copyright 2010 by Simon & Schuster, Incorporated. Recording copyright 2010 by Simon & Schuster, Incorporated. All rights reserved. This is Unit 8 of Pimsleur's Arabic 2. Listen to this conversation between two friends. You'll hear,
ماشي الحال.
not bad,
اسمع.
مرحبا جين، كيفك؟
منيحة كتير شكراً. وأنت؟
ماشي الحال، وين رايحة؟
زميلتي وجوزها جايين يزوروني. هن 2 من طرطوس بس ساكنين هون من 2 سنين.
هن ساكنين هون بالشام؟
إيه بشارع المالكي.
You just heard
بشارع المالكي.
Malki Street.
اسمع هالمحادثة مرة تانية.
مرحبا جين، كيفك؟
منيحة كتير شكراً. وأنت؟
ماشي الحال، وين رايحة؟
زميلتي وجوزها جايين يزوروني. هن 2 من طرطوس بس ساكنين هون من 2 سنين.
هن ساكنين هون بالشام؟
إيه بشارع المالكي.
Now you're an American woman in Damascus and you've run into a close friend. How do you say, hi?
مرحبا. مرحبا.
Here's how to ask, how's it going?
اسمع أعيد.
كيف الحال؟ الحال. كيف الحال؟
How does he say hi back to you?
مرحبا.
He asks, how's it going?
كيف الحال؟
جاوب.
Answer, very well, thanks.
منيحة كتير شكراً.
Your friend says, hi, how's it going?
مرحبا، كيف الحال؟
Here's how to answer, not bad.
اسمع أعيد.
ماشي الحال. حال. الحال. ماشي الحال.
And you?
وأنت؟
How do you ask him, how's it going?
كيف الحال؟
And how does he answer, not bad?
ماشي الحال.
As you're talking, your friend tells you about a colleague who's going to visit. Referring to a man, how does he say, a colleague of mine?
زميلي. زميلي.
Still referring to a man, can you guess how to say, your colleague?
زميلك. لك. زميلك.
You want to ask, what's your colleague's name?
اسمع أعيد.
شو اسم زميلك؟ اسم. شو اسم زميلك؟
Literally, you asked, what is the name of your colleague? What's the Arabic word meaning name?
اسم. اسم.
Ask again, what's your colleague's name?
شو اسم زميلك؟ اسم.
He tells you his name is Sami Dabas.
اسمه سامي دباس. اسمه.
Sammy's Canadian.
كندي.
سامي كندي. كندي. سامي كندي.
He says his wife's name is Mariam.
اسمع أعيد.
اسم مرته مريم. اسم. اسم مرته مريم.
Literally, you said the name of his wife is Mariam. Say again, his wife's name is Mariam.
اسم مرته مريم.
And how would you say, her name's Miriam?
اسمها مريم. اسمها.
اسأل.
Sammy's Canadian?
سامي كندي؟
He answers, yes, and his wife is from Canada too.
إيه ومرته من كندا كمان.
Her son still lives there.
ابنها لسه ساكن هنيك.
He says, they both speak Arabic.
الاثنين بيحكوا عربي.
Just to make sure, you ask, your colleague is Canadian, right?
زميلك كندي ما هيك؟
Your friend says, yes, but he's lived here for 3 years.
إيه بس ساكن هون من 3 سنين. ساكن.
اسأل مرة تانية.
Ask again, what's your colleague's name?
شو اسم زميلك؟
Your friend answers, Sammy. His name is Sammy Dabas.
سامي. اسمه سامي دباس.
Sammy is a friend of mine.
سامي رفيقي.
How would he say, the name of his wife is Miriam?
اسم مرته مريم. اسم مرته مريم.
I haven't seen her for 3 years.
ما شفتها من 3 سنين.
He says again, they both speak Arabic.
الاثنين بيحكوا عربي.
Do you remember how to say, I have the time?
عندي وقت. عندي.
In Arabic, you use the same word to say, at my place. Try it.
عندي. عندي.
Try to say to your male friend, at your place.
عندك. عندك.
To say to him, to your place, you add la to the beginning. Try this.
لعندك. لعندك.
Your friend says, they're coming to my place tomorrow.
جايين لعندي بكرة. جايين لعندي بكرة.
Ask him, to your place?
لعندك؟
Your friend says, yes, my colleague and his wife.
إيه زميلي ومرته.
They come to my place.
جايين لعندي. لعندي.
Sometimes.
أحياناً.
He's lived in Tartus for 3 years.
بطرطوس.
ساكن بطرطوس من 3 سنين. 3 سنين.
Tartus is not a big city.
طرطوس مو بلد كبيرة.
Sometimes I go there. Remember to say, I go to there.
أحياناً بروح لهنيك. بروح.
I haven't seen her for 3 years.
ما شفتها من 3 سنين.
Now you want to invite your friend for a coffee at the Spring Cafe. First, here's how you say to a man, you go.
اسمع أعيد.
تروح تروح تروح.
And how do you say, to the Spring Cafe?
لقهوة الربيع.
Ask your male friend, would you like to go?
بتحب تروح؟ تروح؟ بتحب تروح؟
To the Spring Cafe?
لقهوة الربيع؟ بتحب تروح لقهوة الربيع؟
Your friend answers, yes, I like the Spring Cafe.
إيه بحب قهوة الربيع.
Here's the word for often or usually.
اسمع أعيد.
عادة. عادة.
How would he say, I go there often?
بروح لهنيك عادة. عادة. بروح لهنيك عادة.
How does he say that he goes to the Spring Cafe often?
بروح لقهوة الربيع عادة. عادة.
We're going there now.
رايحين لهنيك هلأ. رايحين.
رايحين.
Means we're in the process of going.
روح.
Means to go. Here's how to say to a man, you go downtown.
اسمع أعيد.
تروح على البلد؟ تروح 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 على البلد؟
How do you ask him if he would like to go downtown?
بتحب تروح على البلد؟
Yes, we're going there now. Continue to say, to there.
إيه رايحين لهنيك هلأ.
Do you remember how to say, I return on foot?
برجع مشي. برجع.
قول.
We can return on foot.
ممكن نرجع مشي. نرجع.
Now try to say, we can go downtown on foot.
ممكن نروح على البلد مشي. نروح. ممكن نروح على البلد مشي.
Or we can take a taxi.
أو ممكن ناخد تاكسي. ناخد.
Now say, sometimes I go downtown.
أحياناً بروح على البلد.
He suggests we can take a taxi to the cafe.
ممكن ناخد تاكسي للقهوة.
What is the Arabic word for often or usually?
عادة.
He says, usually I take my car.
عادة باخد سيارتي.
Try to say to him, your car.
سيارتك. تك. سيارتك.
سؤال.
Where is your car?
وين سيارتك؟ سيارتك.
At your place, right?
عندك ما هيك؟
He says, yes, my car is at my place.
إيه سيارتي عندي.
In that case, we can go into town on foot.
إذا ممكن نروح على البلد مشي.
Your friend says, today I don't have much time.
اليوم ما عندي وقت كتير.
Referring to a woman, he says, I'm going to have dinner with my colleague.
حأتعشى مع زميلتي.
Ask him, when is your colleague coming?
إمتى جاي زميلتك؟
He says, she's coming to visit me at 1 o'clock.
جاي تزورني الساعة 1.
You remind him, but you don't have your car.
بس ما عندك سيارتك.
Here's how to say, by taxi.
اسمع أعيد.
بالتاكسي. بالتاكسي.
قول.
In that case, we can go by taxi today.
إذن ممكن نروح بالتاكسي اليوم.
Later, how does he ask, are we going to your place now?
رايحين لعندك هلأ؟
You tell him yes. He says, I'm sorry, I can't go with you today.
آسف مو ممكن روح معك اليوم.
Ask him, your colleague is coming at 1?
زميلتك جاي الساعة 1؟
Try to say to him, you take a taxi.
تاخد تاكسي؟ تاخد تاكسي؟
سؤال.
Can you take a taxi to your place?
ممكن تاخد تاكسي لعندك؟ تاخد؟
He says, yes, to my place, or I can return on foot.
إيه لعندي أو ممكن أرجع مشي.
Tell him, sometimes I take a taxi.
أحياناً باخد تاكسي.
Can you take a taxi to your place?
ممكن تاخد تاكسي لعندك؟ تاخد؟
Or you can go by bus.
اسمع أعيد.
أو ممكن تروح بالباص. باص. الباص. بالباص. أو ممكن تروح بالباص.
Now try to say together, by taxi, by bus.
بالتاكسي. بالباص.
He says, we can't return to your place on foot.
مو ممكن نرجع لعندك مشي. نرجع.
Tell him, you can go by bus today.
ممكن تروح بالباص اليوم.
or you can take a taxi, right?
أو ممكن تاخد تاكسي ما هيك؟ أو ممكن تاخد تاكسي ما هيك؟
Now it's another day and you see a good friend. How do you say, "Hi, how's it going?"
مرحبا، كيف الحال؟
He answers, "Not bad."
ماشي الحال.
Ask him if he would like to go into town with you.
بتحب تروح على البلد معي؟
He says that he would. Say, "Fine, we can take a taxi."
طيب، ممكن ناخد تاكسي.
He reminds you, "My friend is still at my place."
رفيقي لسه عندي. عندي.
Ask him, "And you don't have your car, right?"
وما عندك سيارتك ما هيك؟
He says he doesn't. Say, "In that case, we can go on foot or by taxi."
إذن ممكن نروح مشي أو بالتاكسي.
Your friend says, "We can go into town by taxi."
ممكن نروح على البلد بالتاكسي.
Or we can go by bus.
أو ممكن نروح بالباص.
Ask him, "Would you like to go there by bus?"
بتحب تروح لهنيك بالباص؟
He says, "Usually I go into town by bus."
عادة بروح على البلد بالباص.
And I return on foot.
وبرجع مشي. برجع.
But today we can take the bus.
بس اليوم ممكن ناخد الباص.
Yes, of course.
اسمع أعيد.
إيه طبعاً. طبعاً.
كيف بتقول؟
How do you say, "Of course"?
طبعاً.
Of course we can take the bus.
طبعاً ممكن ناخد الباص.
And we can return by bus, right?
وممكن نرجع بالباص ما هيك؟
جاوب.
Answer, "No, I don't want to. Not today."
لا ما بدي. مو اليوم.
I want to return on foot.
بدي أرجع مشي.
Your friend says, "Of course. We can drink a coffee."
طبعا ممكن نشرب قهوة.
Ask him again if he would like to go into town with you.
بتحب تروح على البلد معي؟
He says, "Yes, of course."
إيه طبعا.
How does he ask you, "Would you like to go to the Spring Cafe?"
بتحبي تروحي لقهوة الربيع؟ تروحي؟
هلأ قول.
I go into town often.
بروح على البلد عادة.
I go there often by bus.
بروح لهنيك عادة بالباص.
And I return on foot.
وبرجع مشي.
Now it's another day and you are meeting with your friend Sammy. You greet him. Hi, Sammy. How's it going?
مرحبا سامي، كيف الحال؟
He answers, Not bad, thanks. And you?
ماشي الحال شكرا، وأنتي؟
You plan to go shopping together. He asks, Would you like to drink something first? Here's the Arabic word for first.
اسمع أعيد.
أول.
Remember, he's speaking to a woman. How does he ask you, Would you like to drink something first?
بتحبي تشربي شي أول؟
جاوب.
Yes, of course.
إيه طبعاً. إيه طبعاً.
I'd like to drink something first.
بحب أشرب شي أول.
He asks you, In that case, would you like to go to the Spring Cafe?
إذا بتحبي تروحي لقهوة الربيع؟
We can go there on foot or by bus.
ممكن نروح لهنيك مشي أو بالباص.
How do you ask him, Where's your car? At your place?
وين سيارتك؟ عندك؟ سيارتك.
He says, Yes, today my wife wants the car.
إيه اليوم مرتي بدها السيارة.
Referring to a man, say, A colleague is coming to my place.
زميلي جاي لعندي.
He's Canadian.
هو كندي.
He's coming with his wife.
جاي مع مرته.
They're coming to visit me tonight.
جايين يزوروني اليوم بالليل.
They both speak Arabic.
الاثنين بيحكوا عربي.
How would your friend ask, What's your colleague's name?
شو اسم زميلك؟ اسم.
Salam Etuni. His name is Salam Etuni.
إيتوني.
سالم إيتوني. اسمه سالم إيتوني.
His wife's name is Anisa.
أنيسة.
اسم مرته أنيسة.
They're both coming to my place.
الاثنين جايين لعندي. لعندي.
Now you're meeting with another close friend. Greet him. Hi, Jalal. How's it going?
مرحبا جلال، كيف الحال؟
Not bad, and you?
ماشي الحال، وأنتي؟
You tell him you're fine, then ask, Do you have the time to have a coffee first?
عندك وقت تشرب قهوة أول؟
بيقول
Of course, I often take the bus to the cafe.
طبعا، عادة باخد الباص للقهوة.
But today we can take a taxi.
بس اليوم ممكن ناخد تاكسي.
This is the end of Unit 8 and the end of today's lesson. Pimsleur courses work best when done consecutively and on a daily basis. For best results, please continue with the next unit tomorrow. This has been a presentation of Simon & Schuster Audio. Copyright 2010 by Simon & Schuster, Incorporated.